Hey doing guys, welcome back, it's LSP. So I just want to do a quick rundown of recent price action. So obviously Bitcoin, Binance, we had a little bit of a downturn. You can see price started to run a little bit lower. I think the lowest point was 25,000 and about $36 on Bitcoin. And Binance came as low as 203, I believe. But we'll get into this. I'm going to take a look at the hourly chart. Now this is interesting, and the reason I want to show you this, you can see the drop here in just complete reversal, right? So it's just coming right back into the range. And what's interesting and very important to note is all of this here, right? So you can see that price has spent a lot of time around about 26,000. It popped up, reversed. Okay, so full negation. Started to spend some time here again, a little bit outside one way or another, but ultimately roughly around about sort of 25.8 to around about 26.2. And again, dropped outside of that range, full reversal. So I'm expecting, for price to just slow down a little bit now and continue going sideways. But this doesn't change the overall premise of what we're seeing. We've got to remember globally things are pretty bad. Interest rates are going to continue going up. Mortgage defaults are absolutely coming. And yet, you do have people that are going to start to struggle or already struggling. I am keeping a track of alts and some projects, that we're all familiar with, and people are starting to sell. To kind of protect those profits. So I think that's going to continue. And I think ultimately it's going to get to a point now where the expectation that price is going to drop may very well reverse, and then we might start to see prices running higher. So remember, there's always that kind of engineered manipulation to try to get people to do something. So for now, nothing's changed for me. I still believe that we are going to see lower prices, but that recent drop, or this recent drop that we've seen over the last couple of days, seems to be stabilizing a little bit. Binance, very weak still. Again, you'll notice on Binance, we do have a similar situation where you see prices come out of this range. It's roughly around about sort of 217 to 220. It came above this range, came back in, and now we've come below this range again and we've come back in, but the snapback is not as aggressive, right? I am very confident that Binance is being manipulated, right? BNB is being manipulated, right? There's many people online, Twitter, and some other people that are very smart, have been keeping a track of things, and they believe, that the same thing that I believe. Binance is being manipulated. But having said that, whether it is or it isn't, we can see that on the chart, right? This is price being held, at a certain spot, and there's obviously a lot of orders, a lot of liquidity around this level. We'll do the same thing here, so it's roughly around about here. But the fact that it didn't snap back enough, or at least overshoot like Bitcoin did, just proves, that Binance is a lot weaker than the overall sort of sentiment of the market. And again, with everything that's happening globally, with things the way that they are, it's very unlikely, that we're going to see this kind of amazing turnaround and price really starts to rip to the upside. So again, caution is advised. I'm keeping an eye on things. I just want to see actually how low it was. 204, I believe it was lower. Yeah, 203. I'm sure I saw 203 yesterday. So that's the second time we've come down here. Not as low. The last time Binance came to these levels, it was at 203.36. And this time is around about 203.91. Let's just call it 204. Not that much difference, but enough to say, okay, there is some reason that Binance keeps running back higher after it comes out of this range. But the more it does this, especially with the context of a higher time frame, like what we're seeing, and then the easier it's going to be to just go straight through 200, and start to drive towards the 186, 180s, and 150s, and so on. Remember, the more times price hits a level, there's two ways you can look at it. If price is continually hitting a level, you can say, okay, it's strengthening, the support or the resistance is becoming stronger, or it's becoming weaker because it's getting bounced, it's getting hit up against constantly over and over and over again. Personally, I like to look at the reaction at those levels, and the reaction is, going back to the 4 hour, becoming weaker. So you can see the first time this happened is pretty aggressive, and then we shot all the way back up and then reversed again. This was a pretty aggressive. So if you look at this drop, and reversal overshoots, complete full negation rebalancing, pops out, comes all the way back down. So this is an aggressive drop, to come straight back into this range and lower by a clear overshoot. This time, price drops, does reverse, but not full complete sort of negation or rebalancing. So Binance, still pretty weak. XRP, For me, much weaker in terms of what we've been seeing recently on XRP. No news is going to keep this up, in my opinion. It's just following the general sentiment of the market. It doesn't mean that XRP isn't valid. Doesn't mean that XRP doesn't have some use case. I don't know. Obviously on the Ripple side of things, with what they're doing with central bank digital currencies and so on. Personally, I think I'm not convinced at that. I think there's some dodgy shit going on there, but anyway, we'll see. But there's almost no relief, so that next leg down, you're probably going to end up seeing somewhere in this wick, probably a little bit lower into this wick. The low is around about sort of 43. If you remember, I did post, saying somewhere around 42, 43, if my memory serves, is the next level of liquidity. And then after that point, might have even been lower. Yeah, 43. It is down here, 43, 42, 43. So we're not seeing that much relief. So I do believe that we're probably going to get, a bit more downside on XRP, and it is going to follow the general sentiment of the market. So with that said, hope everyone's having an awesome day, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next update. All the best. Take care. Ciao for now.